Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for another update on New York's unemployment insurance system. As you know, more than 33.5 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits since this crisis began. And in New York, we have processed applications for 1.8 million individuals. Just for context, in New York, we have processed 1 million more applications during this crisis than in all of 2019. And nationwide, we have hit multiple records for the number of new claims filed in a week. The old record was 695,000 new claims nationwide in a single week in October 1982. But during this crisis, we have seen weeks with 4.4 million, 5.2 million, 6.6 million, and 6.8 million new claims. This is a massive crush on our system and every unemployment insurance system across the country. But I know there are more New Yorkers who need our support, and we will continue to work every day to get them their benefits. Today, I want to give a brief update on three different aspects of our system: the total benefits we've paid during the crisis, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, and how we are addressing forfeiture days. So far during this crisis, New York has moved more aggressively and faster than other states to deliver benefits to our unemployed workers. And in total, since the beginning of March, we have paid $7.4 billion in unemployment benefits to New Yorkers. This is the result of a massive effort by thousands of Department of Labor staffers, along with workers from other state agencies. And I want to once again thank everyone who is working so hard to get this money into New Yorkers' hands. For context, Florida, which has roughly the same population as New York, has paid out just $1.7 billion during this time. Illinois, which has 2/3 of our population, has paid $2 billion from January through the end of April. And California, which has double our population, has paid out $8.9 billion. So when you control for population, it's clear we are well ahead of these other major states. But that's just to give you the national context, because of course, to someone waiting for their first payment, these numbers provide cold comfort. And that's what drives our work every day to get more New Yorkers their benefits faster. Many of the New Yorkers who've been facing delays are those who qualify for Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, or PUA. To give some history, this program was only created on March 27th, when the CARES Act was signed into law, and the guidance from the federal government was only released on April 5th. And that guidance was cumbersome, requiring someone to first apply for traditional unemployment insurance, knowing they would be denied, then get denied, and then apply for PUA. After a few weeks, the guidance was changed to be more streamlined, and on April 20th, we launched a seamless application that lets New Yorkers apply for either traditional unemployment insurance or PUA, depending on which program they qualify for. But still, many people were stuck in that federal two-step process. It was like a glue trap. And PUA claims generally can take longer to process because they are often more complex. We are now addressing those applications at top speed, however, and we have processed more than 330,000 PUA applications to date. And these individuals can start receiving their funds as soon as they submit their weekly certifications. We're making sure all of the PUA applicants who've been processed and approved are receiving proactive emails and text messages so they know to submit those certifications. Last, I have good news for New Yorkers who had been assessed forfeiture days. These are penalties that someone receives if they willfully claim more unemployment benefits than they are entitled to, and they prevent that individual from receiving benefits for a number of days in the future. These individuals are already receiving the $600 weekly federal pandemic unemployment compensation payments. But recognizing that this is an emergency and that many unemployed New Yorkers have limited options to find employment, today we are suspending forfeiture days for the extent of the pandemic emergency. That means individuals will begin receiving the full benefits they would otherwise be eligible for. The payment should begin arriving in the next 2 weeks and will include back pay through today's date. I'll close by reiterating how I opened up today's press conference with the national context. Over 33.5 million Americans have applied for unemployment insurance during this crisis. And I'm sure that when new data is released tomorrow, that heartbreaking number will only rise. This is an unprecedented crisis, and we are all in uncharted waters. But we have connected 1.7 million New Yorkers with $7.4 billion, and I will not rest until everyone receives their benefits.